that obviously was revealed by midnight last night. The papers found in, it appears, the 45 office desk. I don't know if that's Donald Trump's office. 45 office is what it's called. But these papers are clearly highly sensitive. And the revelations overnight are quite stunning.
I don't know. Maybe 45 Office is the Tiki Hut bar at Mar-a-Lago. Who knows?
Yikes. This is frightening.
But, you know, the thing that we just need to keep circling back to that you brought up earlier this morning, Donald Trump has no explanation for this.
He doesn't deny it.
Rudy Giuliani has no explanation for why the most top secret documents that the government holds was stolen from the White House and taken down to Mar-a-Lago. Newt Gingrich, who's attacking law enforcement officers, calling them wolves who want to devour Americans, doesn't have any defense. There is no explanation. There is no defense, at least politically and legally, Jonathan, or John Heilman. Legally, it seems to me that every day for Donald Trump, they think they're going to do something with this special master, plead to have a special master, and then they force the DOJ's hand, who says, oh, OK, well, here, you want some evidence why we can't do that? And I'm just reminded of what Julia Yaffe says in her blog, tomorrow will be worse. When it comes to Donald Trump's legal woes, it seems he doesn't really have many moves left. Tomorrow will be worse. Perhaps that's why he and Lindsey Graham are talking about Republican riots in the street, Republican violence in the street. Again, their words, not mine. Their words, not mine. This is not Antifa. This is Lindsey Graham saying, if Donald Trump is held accountable for breaking the law, Republicans, his supporters, will riot in the street. So that's what we're left with, because they sure as hell don't seem to have any explanation for why he took these top secret documents.
Yeah, so several things, I think, on this. The first is, you know, Joe, to your point, I mean, the first weekend after the Mar-a-Lago search and seizure operation, it was reported in the New York Times that Trump had reached out to Merrick Garland and said something along the lines of, you know, he wanted to try to cool things down. Could he try to, you know, calm things in the country, because the country was really on fire? And there were people who read that as a veiled threat. And I looked at it and sort of thought that that could be right. That could be a veiled threat. It now seems obvious that it was the precursor to, it was a veiled threat and was a precursor laying down the groundwork for what we're now seeing, which is, you know, these explicit threats that are, you know, kind of almost incomprehensible that someone like Lindsey Graham would say what he said. But I think the main point is that they don't have any legal moves left. I'm not a lawyer, but there's no lawyer I talk to who thinks that this situation isn't going to get worse for them. And I think what that leads to, Joe, is this question of, really, in the end, it still is the question is what Merrick Garland's going to do. Is he going to indict Donald Trump or not? Now, you know, there was, again, in that early phase, there was some discussion among prosecutors. They would say, you know, well, maybe if he gotten the classified documents back, he will have served his purpose. They'll no longer be at risk. Maybe he won't go through with it. What we've seen now, you know, having crossed the Rubicon and sent those FBI agents down there to do that search and seizure, having come back and we now know how many documents there were, how long they were there, how much Trump resisted, how high the level of classification was. And now the DOJ has gone to the point where it's laying them out on the floor, or they're laying out on the floor here and they're putting these photographs out. I think, they're not just, you know, sort of spiking the ball on all of Trump's legal team's bad legal interpretations and maneuvers, but they are implicitly or explicitly kind of tipping their hand too. I don't understand a world in which now Merrick Garland could not, in the end, indict Trump. And I think that's where we're headed, you know, and then the Trump people know it. Donald Trump knows it. It's the thing that's causing the panic, the behavior of a guy who seems like he's on a bad has had some bad bathtub mescaline and has kind of lost his mind yesterday. He's panicked and he can see as clearly as everyone else can. He's headed for an indictment. And I think that's becoming increasingly inexorable and inevitable. And that's part of what's driving this degree of freak out on his part on whatever that platform is he uses, isn't that just a QAnon platform? Isn't that all that is?
Yeah,
True Social? Isn't that Q Social? Isn't that what they call it?
I don't know what that is any more than I know what bad bathtub mescaline is. But I'll leave that right there.
Come on over
John
on Saturday
Heilemann.
afternoon, Joe. I'm going to have a barbecue. If you want to come by, I can make you familiar with the substance in question.
No.
Wow.
I'm very good with sweet
Did he
tea.
just-
I'm telling you, that's I've cut the amount of sugar that is poured into
trying
the
to-
sweet
yes.
tea jug in half.
There's too much caffeine for you.
And then I'm trying to cut it down to a quarter, right? So that's how dangerous I live with foreign substances.